Now that you have your core finishes selected, it's much easier to pick the following items. You have your style and general look figured out, and these items keep reinforcing it. So interior doors. Doors are typically purchased through a custom wood shop, a lumber yard, building supply, or home improvement store. Interior doors can be hollow or solid core, and that means just what you think. Hollow core doors have a frame and then a veneer on the face, making them hollow inside. They are cheaper, but easily damaged. You can kick a hole right through one of these even if you're not trying that hard. And they do not block sound as well, but they function fine as a door in all other aspects and are a fraction of the cost. Solid core doors are often built from solid wood, or at least have a wood veneer over a foam-filled cavity. You can damage the finish of this door, but you're not going to punch a hole in it. It also blocks sound better and just feels overall more hefty, but you will pay significantly more for each door. You can also mix and match a little bit, solid and hollow core throughout your house, depending on your needs. Save the solid for the bedrooms and the bathrooms, and use hollow for closets or in the basement. You can also get doors with glass, French doors, partial and full panels, side lights, and transoms. Often the glass can be customized for a certain look or for more privacy. Think rain glass, frosted or obscured in some way. Typically, there will be small little square samples and you hold them up to see the light. So hold them close and hold them far away because there's lots of levels of distortion and a perfect pattern for everyone. You can also think about the door swing. It's usually pretty obvious which way you're going to go, but make sure you go through your plan and approve the direction before you confirm the order. Millwork. You might select this at the same time as your interior doors or not, depending on where you go. Millwork typically refers to your wood trim and molding, but it technically refers to anything custom made from a mill for your specific project, versus casework, which is manufactured in stock sizes and then fit together. There are more definitions of millwork, but for most people, you just need to know that it's typically those wood trim pieces. This can be selected from a cabinet shop, lumber yard, building supply, or home improvement store. Sometimes you will see long pieces of it on display, and sometimes it's like little samples mounted on a board, usually sorted by style and size. Trim typically comes unfinished or primed, and the next question is always who finishes it. A custom woodworking shop or a painter typically finishes it. If it's painted, they will prime it and apply one coat of paint. Your contractor will install it, usually using a nail gun, and then someone, either your contractor or your painter, will fill the holes and apply the final coat of paint. If it's stained, your finisher will stain the wood, and then someone will fill those holes after the install and apply a final coat of polyurethane or other clear finish. There is a lot of variation with trim. Not only are there different profiles, sizes, and colors, but you can install them in a variety of combinations. This is something to look for visual inspiration first, because there are so many options I can't even list them all for you. And minor changes can make big differences in the style direction. It's a detail that subtly reinforces your style throughout your entire house. Trim is literally everywhere, but yet it's hard to imagine when you are looking at those individual pieces or those small samples. So look back at your inspiration images and study the trim. Look at how they handled the trim around the doors and the windows, and then the base trim along the floor, because those can all be different. Also look and see if there's any crown molding or anything on top of your cabinets. Hardware. Door handles are one of the last things to be installed, so you don't really need to make this decision right away, but while you have doors on your brain, you might as well. The price of a handle might not seem like much, but most houses have quite a few doors, so this does add up quickly. There are different types of handles depending on the function, but they make it pretty obvious with their naming. Keyed entry doors are for exterior doors. Privacy is for any interior room that you want to lock. Bedrooms and bathrooms typically. Passage means doors that don't need a lock, like closets and hallways. And then there's dummy handles that don't actually function at all. And they can be one-sided and are typically placed on doors without latches, like barn doors and French doors. So count your doors, Go through your floor plan or actually on site and note each door and what type of handle it gets. Most are pretty obvious which handle goes where, but there is a lot to keep track of, and as always, it is better to stay organized. I like to keep things simple, and so we'll select one finish to use throughout the whole house for all the hardware. Brushed nickel, oil rub bronze, or matte black are the typical choices right now, but you can do whatever you want. I use the same finish for both interior and exterior doors, cabinet handles, and lighting finishes. You can definitely switch it up, but the more you do that, the more complicated it gets. If you keep all your finishes the same, know that finishes are not the same across manufacturers. One person's oil rub bronze can be vastly different from another, especially when looking across the whole spectrum of applications. Silver will look different on your lighting and your handles and your kitchen faucet. Just know this and make sure that it doesn't bother you. Plumbing fixtures. This is your kitchen and bath faucets, your shower heads, and your toilets. I like to go to a plumbing showroom. The salespeople can help with questions, quote the whole house, and provide spec sheets to your subcontractors. And even I get overwhelmed when it comes to shower systems. If you are at all thinking of a steam shower or a multi-spray jet system, go to a plumbing showroom. They are typically to the trade only, and your contractor or plumber will have to place the final order, but they know all the details and accessory pieces that you need more than anyone. Plumbing fixtures get expensive, especially tub fillers for some reason, so make sure you are really committed to that soaker tub, not just because it looks cool in the magazine. The tub filler alone, the faucet for the tub, could easily be over $1,000. And prices seem higher at a plumbing showroom, but that's because they are only dealing with medium to high-end fixtures. If you want to find lower priced options, go to a home improvement store. They typically carry the low to medium range. Or shop online, but you do get what you pay for. If you don't mind putting a new kitchen faucet in after 5 years, then don't spend the money on that high-end one. That might last until you are beyond sick of it. Or maybe put the lower cost option in the laundry. Or if you just want the tub for the look but never intend on using it, you would be surprised how often this happens. I don't know why. Get one online and save the money. They are fine for occasional bathing and are a fraction of the cost of that showroom stunner. Compare $800 to $2,000. The actual plumbing fixtures get installed towards the end of the project, but they will need the rough-in pieces that come with your fixture before the drywall and flooring are finished. So you need to select and order these earlier than you think. At least the shower system, floor-mounted tub fillers, and any wall-mounted faucets. You will also need to select toilets. There aren't a huge range of options, but get ready to discuss your private business with your salesperson. You don't have to go into all the details about why, but you do need to talk about your priorities. Do you want water savings or a powerful flush? Standard or elongated seat? Floor mounted or wall? Standard, comfort height, or ADA regulation height? And if you are planning to age in place, go for that higher toilet. Do you want a heated seat? A bidet? Toilets can be super regular or have all the bells and whistles these days. And your kitchen faucet. So not only are you looking at the style and finish, but do you want a pull down spray? Do you want touch technology? Faucets are getting very techy. There are even smart faucets where you can voice control and set standard filling amounts. Say your coffee pot always takes 56 ounces. So you put your pot under the faucet, and then you tell Google or Alexa, fill the coffee pot, and it can do it. Keep in mind that new technology can sometimes be glitchy and cause an otherwise fine faucet to stop working. And it will cost more. Just make sure to check the warranty and read all the reviews. And what about your accessories? Do you want a garbage disposal? Will it have a push button or a switch? Do you want a separate faucet for drinking or filtered water? Usually you select your sink with your cabinet shop or countertop dealer, but you can also get it here. They typically have the same sink company, so no matter where you buy it from. Bathroom faucets, again, looking at the style and the finish, but also the height and how it's mounted. I like a taller faucet. It's easier to get your hands under, but too tall and you'll have excessive splashing. Wall or counter mounted, 1 hole or 3. If you are remodeling and keeping an existing countertop, check what your existing is. Are you doing a vessel sink? then you need to think about a different type of faucet, either wall-mounted or a taller counter-mounted. Talk about the rest of your design to make sure that your selections fit the requirements of everything else that you're doing. If you already have selected a sink, bring the spec sheet to the salesperson so that they can plan accordingly, especially if it's something out of the ordinary like a vessel. Do you have a bar sink anywhere? Don't forget about that sink and faucet. It could be the same as your kitchen, or you could go with something a little smaller or simpler, especially if you went really techie with that kitchen faucet. And then your laundry. This sink is typically larger and deeper than your average sink, and the faucet is higher. It's usually more about the function here, but that is totally up to you. Closet systems. Closets don't just become closets on their own. You have to put an organization system in there. I talked about this in the planning deep dive, but if you need inspiration, start following some of the home organization companies out there. I personally like Marie Kondo or The Home Edit. They show you ways to organize yourself and systems that you can use. You can also look for inspiration on sites like the Container Store or IKEA. They know how to use the space efficiently, and they have the systems that those organization experts are using. So even if you don't buy your systems from them, see what's out there and how they're doing it. And your pantry. Everyone wants this beautiful walk-in pantry, but almost no one knows how to actually get that look and keep it organized. Don't feel bad if you never live up to those Instagram photos. 99% of pantries don't. And for that exact reason, I do not recommend putting a window on the pantry door. It will never be fully up to those Instagram standards, and you will cringe every time you walk by. Just don't do that to yourself. Have the ability to close the door and not look at it. The same companies that make closet systems usually have pantry organization as well as garage storage. So just find a system that you like and then organize the heck out of your space. So that is the overall broad view of the selections you have to make. You can see why this is an overwhelming process. In the next video, we will get even more detailed, and you might be thinking, how could there be even more? There's a lot more. If your brain is swimming, take a break. Information